So we're just gonna dive in. First off, we thank both of you for joining and having this conversation. Tonight we're talking about, your story and, kind of your journey and what took place and how you guys got to where you are today. So we just want to say welcome and thank you.
Welcome.
But thank you. Thank you. I
Of
appreciate it.
course.
Appreciate it.
We know that, not everyone is comfortable having these conversations, but we really appreciate you guys for joining this platform and talking about your story. So the floor is yours.
Oh, good old boy.
Let's dive in.
I'll start. Yeah, I'll start by saying, for those that don't know, I was married, I guess, 19 years and 10 months, so 20 years, and divorced and crushed, and had pretty much written off love. Thought that, I was bitter, and my besties, Angela and Cheryl, they know how I felt. I had nothing good to say about men, nothing. Even though I had a good role model growing up, I guess just because my heart was so broken, I had given up on love completely. And I called myself trying to date, and I all I spewed out of my mouth was bitterness, anger, hurt. So of course nothing ever went anywhere. So um, until I got, I really started uh, searching and got tired of being tired, sick and tired and bitter and hurt and crying out and asking God to heal me because I was so hurt and broken. And the things I would say, even to my friends, to my best friends and people around me that did have love, I didn't even have anything positive to say to them. And now it's amazing now when I look back on it, and I apologize to friends now. I'm like, I'm sorry, for the stuff I said because it was ugly. It was just ugly. It wasn't, it was out of a bad heart. It was out of a bad place. And even friendships and people that I know loved me, I had nothing good to say. So, and I didn't think that love was even possible for me. And when you have that mindset, it's not. I learned. So when I got to the point where I was fed up and I didn't think that it would ever happen to me or for me again, that's when I finally surrendered and I just asked God to help me. I was like, I thought, okay, it got to the point, it got so bad that I finally just moved. I moved into a senior living community. I begged to move in over there because I was like, I'm going to be by myself for the rest of my life. So I'm going to see if I can just live over here in these pretty little cute little duplexes. Oh, well, over here with these seniors, and I'm gonna ride it out. I'm good. And so I moved over there, and I was like, I was done. So, and that's how much I had given up on it, and doing my own thing, and figured I'm done. And uh, then God started talking to me and dealing with my heart, and just showing me things about me. Why things were happening to me, and why I would meet one guy after the other, and things weren't going anywhere. Plus, the guys I were meeting, they weren't the guys for Sabrina.
Right.
When you're doing it your own way, and things that I was looking for was not the correct thing. So I know, and we didn't even realize at the time that we both had really good friends, very good friends, both of us, in common. And they kept talking to me and saying, I really have somebody I want you to meet. I really have somebody I want you to meet. I was like, nope. I'm done. I'm good. I pass. And they were like, we really have somebody who wants you to meet. Please, we really have somebody who wants you to meet. And I was like, no. So the only way I would meet him was at a New Year's Eve party. I agreed. I was like, okay, And as long as I can bring some of my friends with me, because I'm sure this ain't gonna be nothing. I'm gonna meet them and I'll walk out, just say hi, and then I'm gonna walk away, and the night's gonna go
Right.
on. So that's what I thought was gonna happen. So I didn't even know that it was gonna be a
You're
full blown
right.
setup.
Right.
So I'll let you talk a little, baby.
Oh, that's fine. Just like she was saying, I was piggyback on how we met. Like I said, we met at a New Year's party. I mean, Chris was a
New Year's
yeah,
Eve.
New Year's Eve party, and I thought the same thing because of my relationship that I had. I was married for 11 years and got divorced in '05, I think, and I felt the same way. I was, as men, we try to hold on, act like we hard, and act like we can pull through, and everything is okay because, like we say, I can go find somebody else. It ain't nothing. I can go find somebody else. But but the God in me wouldn't let me do that. I couldn't just go out and just find somebody else. I sat at the house and I cut hair 24/7 just to keep my mind off of things that creeps in my mind, and you start thinking about things, and then when you start thinking about things you start
Right.
acting on things. So I try to keep my mind on cutting hair, and doing it from dawn to dusk, and it was hard, it was real hard. So I felt the same way, and I felt like I ain't gonna find nobody because I don't go nowhere. I'm not a club person. I'm not a going out person. I don't like to hang out. So I just sat at the house like, man, this is how it's gonna be, and I try to deal with that. I try to set in my mind like this is all like, I'm not gonna find anybody. So when it happened and when we got together, I went to just the truth be told, I went to that New Year's party like a nerd because I didn't want to meet nobody. I had on some thick glasses.
It was like you was going to a prom.
I had on thick glasses, and I wouldn't plan on, even talking to her. It was like she said, I was gonna come there and say hi, and then I'll leave and
Right.
go back home and do my regular routine. But not saying, like I said, God always have a
Hmm.
ram in the bush, and I was thank God for us to connect the way we did, because uh, it wasn't like a getting with her, and the first thing we thought of, like, oh, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna really, we're gonna do it, we're gonna, because I wouldn't, my intentions on when I got with her, it was not to have a girlfriend. I didn't want a girlfriend. I wanted a friend. And once I have a friend, a friend goes a long ways. So I wanted to build that relationship with her and have her, being her friend, and, having, fun times. We can just go hang out and laugh, and, she shared her moments with me. I shared my moments with her. And it was like, we got it off our chest. So, so we don't have to, sit up there and be trying to compare each other, compare it to my last relationship, or compare it to my, so I didn't want to compare her to my last relationship because I didn't want to bring that relationship that I had to this relationship
Mhm.
because it never would have worked out. It wouldn't have worked out if we had every time something went on or something I thought about that my ex did, I thought about her like, oh, okay, well, I'm done. I ain't seen this before. You have to have that communication. That's why we built a friendship.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad we built the friendship first before we even got, you know, deep into our relationship.
Yeah, and that's one thing that was so different with T when we started our friendship, because we met New Year's Eve of 16, and New Year's Day he called me to asked me to take me to the movies. But even every day that we were talking on the phone and everything, I wasn't even I realized I wasn't used to dating the
Mm,
proper way,
yes.
that when I was we were getting to know each other, I thought it was weird. I was calling my friends and going, "Girl, he ain't even tried to touch me yet,"
Right.
and I like, "What's
Right.
wrong with this guy?" Okay. all he's doing is we're talking, and I'm like, okay, he told me he just wants a friend, so I guess we're just gonna be friends, you know. I don't know. Everybody was like, so are y'all dating? I don't know.
I don't know what
we
we're doing.
Because it was right.
He had a plan.
Because the way it was going,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And he just kept saying, you know, I want a friend. I want to be your friend. And I was like, okay, you know. And he picked me up, or we kept meeting everywhere we went, because I wouldn't let him pick me up. But I mean, and then he walked me to my car and like, okay, still gonna kiss. Okay, still gonna kiss. You know. And then I realized, I mean, Sabrina, you don't even know how to date properly. You don't even realize that this man is treating you like a jewel, you know, the way you're
Right.
supposed to be treated, and respecting you like the way you're supposed to be treated like a queen and quality. And he should want to treat you
Right.
delicate, you know. And when he started telling me that I want to be your friend, because a friend goes so much further and lasts so much longer. Everybody, I mean, for the sake of a lack of better words, everybody can hump, and everybody can get on top of you, and everybody can do all the things the
Right.
world do. But you know, friendship will last a
Right.
lifetime, you know. And our friendship blossomed, and we could be on the phone for hours just laughing, and then talking, and then laughing, and even still to this day we'll be in here sometimes laughing so hard our
Yeah.
stomach hurts, you know. And it could be about the
Yeah.
silliest stuff, or but it's the friendship that drew me in, that made me feel like this man is
Right.
my friend, you know. And then that will go, that will go forever, you know. And I value that. And that, as far as when you realize, you look back on our previous marriages and things that you didn't do the correct way, and how you didn't build a friendship, then you realize, okay. And that's why when you contacted me on love after divorce, I was like, wow, that's so true, because I didn't think that I would ever have love after divorce. And God has given me that and so
Right.
much more,
Yes.
you know. Because I look at this man sometimes, just even out of the blue, I'll just tell him, do you know you're the love of my life?
Yeah.
You know, do you know how much I love you? And we'll text during the day and just say silly stuff, or, you know, the
Yes.
friendship.
Yeah. I mean, we our friendship is so deep that, you know, we tell each other stories like, hey, this girl tried to
Yeah.
talk to me, and she tell me,
Yeah.
this dude tried to talk to me, and they had went out here recently, and a guy tried to talk to her, and was saying things that she had a pretty smile, she must work for a dentist, and all this other stuff. But
Here's my
for before
Hold
before
on now. Hold on.
yeah, but for how we to get that point to
Yeah.
get to that point, we had to have a
Right.
friendship, because any other relationship, you tell somebody that they're gonna get a little angry, a little, upset, a little jealous, and start, acting a certain way. But when she told me, I kind of laughed it off, and I was like, "Well, you should have
Right.
talked to him. You should have told him what was up, And because we had that friendship where, hey, and I always say, hey, if whatever I'm not doing, let's talk about it. Whatever I'm not doing at any point of this relationship, if I'm not doing something that's making you happy, or I'm slacking off of something, or I'm not, uh, uh, filling your needs, that what you need,
Right.
let's talk.
Mhm.
Let's talk, because if we keep just holding it in, and then the last little hold in, and you say one thing wrong, I'm gonna blow up, because we didn't talk about it. We never talked about it. We just held it in, and I'm good. I'm good. No, I'm good. No, I'm straight. I'm good. But you're not good. Inside, you holding a lot of anger in, and once that anger gets to a point to where you can't hold it anymore, and then you let all of it out. You spit all of it out, and when you spit all of it out, sometimes the words that you say you
Yeah.
can't take back. So when I always talk to her, I always say, hey, I try to think before I talk, because when I think before I talk, I don't have to. I'm not saying I don't apologize to her, because I apologize if I'm wrong, but I try to limit
Yeah.
my apologies. I try to not say I'm sorry all the time, because once you start saying you sorry all the time, your sorry is not gonna mean nothing.
Mhm.
It's just a sorry, and then you just gonna be that
Yeah.
sorry dude. You just sorry. You're right. You a sorry dude, and you gonna keep apologizing. So I try to keep, a smile on her face, because we always gonna be friends, because that's what we started off at.
And then one thing I realized when he kept saying he wanted to be my friend was, like me and Angie's friendship. When you think about like how you value your friendships and how you
Hmm.
treat your friends, there's a certain way you talk to your friends. There's a certain way I don't go without talking to my friends. And even if we have a disagreement, we still have a disagreement a certain way. We don't cross
Right.
boundaries. We don't call each other out of our names. You know, Same way with my friend. He's my friend, so I'm still not gonna call him out of his name. There's a certain way to still disagree. There's a certain way I respect him still the same way. If I'm running late to Angie's, I'm going to still let her know because she's my friend. If I'm running late to my hubby, I don't go, girl, he'll be all right. This
Yeah.
is my friend. This is my man,
Right.
my king. I'm going to let
Right.
him know.
Right.
Same way, because people take it for granted that that's their mate
Yeah.
and their spouse, but they don't realize this is still your friend. So you still have friendships have a certain respect that we act like your marriages
Right.
don't have. And if you really look at it as your friendship, we value our friendship. So value it.
It's also it's also, when she goes places, I go places, and if I leave anywhere, I tell her that I'm going somewhere, because for her, it's a covering for me. So anything happen to her, or she don't come in at a certain time, I'm a call, and if she don't answer the phone, now I can tell. It's like I said, after I tell the police, hey, this is where she said she's gonna be at this time. I called her about 30 minutes ago, and she was at this place. So it's a covering,
Out
not
of
a
control. Right.
controlling
Yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
Not a controlling thing. It's not a controlling thing. So, and if I ask her where she going, I don't care where she go, just long as you let me know where you're going, so I know. Hey, if something happened, I know what happened. Like I said, you can be at a store, and the news come on to say, oh, this store got robbed. And say, well, that was the
Yeah.
store she was at.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a covering thing. So you'll know, hey man, I'm just want to make sure I
Yeah.
cover my wife, because we are both covered. She's covered over me, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
cover over her.
And I think it's
So it's a
Yeah,
reciprocated
I think
relationship.
it's important that friendship is established because during that phase you're developing trust. And so things don't come off a negative
Mhm.
way, like you said, like to someone else that could be controlling. But because the relationship and the foundation is established, that's concern, that's me checking in and covering, making sure you're safe. So that's good.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he gave me that even when we were dating. I mean, he would leave, he'd go play basketball, and he'd call and say, "Hey, I'm here to go over so and so's house, or I'm here to go cut hair," and I would be on the phone like, "Okay," but
Yeah.
I was thinking, "Why are you calling me?" But then I remember when I would be dating other guys, and I'd be like, "I ain't heard from him." Oh, okay, you never heard from him. It's been 2 days now that you have. But now you think about it,
Yeah.
wait, it is. There's a certain, and then it lets you
Right.
put your guards down and trust. But then it's the consistency of it and the pattern, and you realize, okay, this man values me enough to even tell me that he's leaving basketball to go here, and you start realizing, oh wow,
That's
so.
good.
Hmm.
What do you think was, what was the process like, once you guys established that friendship, what was the dating like, after divorce and those guards start to come down? What was that process like?
Oh, it was hard. It was it was hard. It was hard, because once you be in a torn relationship, it's hard to try to get somebody's guards down where they can trust you, because they feel like every little thing you do is sneaky, because that's all they think about is their last relationship. And so I kept telling her, and we tell each other, like, hey, I'm not that other dude. Please help me, help me, just so I can, you know, help you put your guards down, and you won't be so, so antsy at everything I say. because everything I used to say, she was like, "What? Oh, why? So what you gonna do that? Why you gonna do?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm not. Hey,
You ain't gotta
I'm
tell
just,
everybody
yeah,
that.
I'm just, I'm just doing it. I'm just trying to, just trying to make
Yeah.
you relax, just so." It was tough. It was tough, but as time went on and I started showing her that I wasn't about, nothing else. It was just about winning her over and making her feel comfortable with, just me being around or just me saying things and letting her know that, hey, I'm not trying to play games on you and I'm just trying to, just respect you because hey, if it's gonna go any farther than where we are, we're gonna have to respect each other. Because if we don't have respect for each other, it's not going to go nowhere. Because I can't respect you, and you don't respect me, or vice versa. Because if we don't get that apart, or we don't get that established, this is not going anywhere.
And then for women, it's easy to say that you healed and you good and
Right.
you by yourself.
Right. With no triggers. With no
Until
triggers. Yeah. We
right,
good.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Girl, I'm healed. I'm good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Uh-huh. Woo,
Yeah.
hallelujah. Yeah. And then when the
Right.
man comes, then all of a sudden you're like, you be looking over there talking, who is that? Who's that? Your constantly. And it's good to have a
Yeah.
sister circle and have a praying
Mhm.
sister circle, girl friends that can help you, that can call you out. I have real friends that they won't just tell me, yeah, girl,
Right.
you right. Uh-huh,
Right.
that's what I would do. No, I have girlfriends that leave me sitting there like, and will tell me that I'm wrong and that will correct
Yeah.
me and check me, like, no, that wasn't him. You need to get your
Right.
act together and go sit down. And I'll be like, oh, okay. So then, then you also, I know everybody doesn't pray, but I have to pray still to this
Mhm.
day for God to help me with my
Right.
insecurities, because I don't want to mess
Right.
up a good thing because of my insecurities from the
Yes.
past. Help me, because we're
Right.
not perfect.
Mhm.
Things still come up when you have been a divorce. When you have been divorced and you're loving again, things still sometimes a trigger that have shook off, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so it's a day by day.
It's one of them pop ups on your phone. You be looking at your phone, all of a sudden it pop up, and like, where that come from? And then you have to like, come on, man, that ain't never came up. Now all of a sudden they want to come up. Yeah, it's a pop up, so I call them pop ups. But it just like she said, uh, you have to be around positive people
Yeah.
because I don't think I would have made it because I have positive. I have a couple of Jerry and a couple of other guys that I talked to that was positive influences on me that kept me where I'm at now because when I was going out there and sometimes he would I had friends that Jerry would check me when I used to do some stuff that he was like, man, that ain't even you, man. Why are you doing
Mm-hmm.
that? That's not even you. So why are you doing that? So I had to hang around positive people to be where I'm at because when you start hanging around, I always say this is what I always say if if you married and you hang around single people, you got some ain't gonna right. You're gonna be doing everything single dude, bro, and then all of a sudden you're gonna be right there with them because you hang around all single people. So I try to hang around all married people because married people almost have the same thoughts that you have, and they consider their wives, some
Yeah.
of them, and and we on a equal, almost a equal, you know,
Should be.
yeah, we should be on the equal thing. But if 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 I wasn't in church like I am now, I stayed in church. That's one thing about me. I stayed in church day in, day out. I prayed day in, day out. So when it comes to hard times, I don't give
Yes.
up.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to get on my knees. I know how to pray. And I used to didn't know how to do this. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I used to do it all the time because I didn't. Because when in my last relationship, I didn't know how to pray. So when times got rough, I just did what everybody else do. I'm gone. I'm out of here. I ain't gonna sit up here and listen to this. So when times get rough now, I don't turn my cheek to her. When times get rough and I feel like I'm going through a hard day or I feel like it's going to affect when I get home, I park in the driveway and I sit there. I just sit there and get my mind and thoughts together before I come in here and take out something on my wife that she don't know nothing about or she ain't did nothing to me. So I have to make sure I put her thoughts in consideration. We do things for each other because we love each other, and the most important of all, we pray for each other. We pray at night. We pray at night every time we go to bed, and we try to do that consistently because sometimes I get into bed and I be so tired I want to go to sleep, but I got to know that hey, I can't just go to sleep because I know God always He'll give me strength to pray just for that 30 minutes or whatever I need to do to pray and get through that night, and then we can continue to go on about our daily thing. But it's a lovely thing when you have a partner that that you love her. I love her, more than life, and I just, I don't think, it couldn't get any better.
That's good.
The trials and tribulations, the hardship, the crying, the unbeliefs, the not believing in God, saying God, I don't think you hear me, and knowing that God was hearing me, but He was taking me through this path that I had to go through, and this journey that I had to go through to get where He wanted me to be, and not just where He wanted me to be is was I going to give up on this journey? Was I going to just go another path, another way, and not trust in Him that He already knew that what He had set up for me, and that's the best thing that I ever could have done was keep trusting in the Lord and keep walking in the path that I knew that God had for me. Now, if I sit up here and say I'm doing everything, I couldn't say I'm just doing everything right. I just couldn't say that. But I'm not doing everything bad either. It's just my
Right.
my thoughts. Sometimes my thoughts go places, and you just do things that is not right, and so it's just like I said, it's a test, and sometimes we fail tests, but we always know that hey, I always get a second chance on because God always give me second chance. He gave me a chance after chance after chance, so I can't sit up here and say it's all me. I can't say it's all me because it wasn't all me. He gave me sight. He gives me he's so gracious and merciful to me. I just sometimes tears come to my eyes because he's been so good to me. Yes.
That's good. That's so
Hmm.
good. What do you feel like, from both of your perspectives, if you were to try to help someone who is kind of experiencing, maybe contemplating divorce or starting that journey or, trying to date after divorce, like what would you say are some healthy tips for them to take away from this conversation?
First of all, there is love after divorce. No matter what anybody tells you, or no matter how you feel, when you're in the middle of a storm, you can't see clear anyway. It looks like the storm will never end, but it will. And I guess that's why I said that you have to have a circle with you. God didn't design us to be on an island by ourselves through any season. So it's important to have good, to have good connections with people, because I know I didn't understand why God brought me to Oklahoma when He did, and I was angry when He did. But now when I look back, I see I see everything that was happening was all in God's plan. He knew why He was bringing me here. He knew what was going to happen, but He knew also who He was going to have me connected with, the people He would have me connected with, even to your mama, Miss Thelma. Down to the people that I have rooted. I know that I could call. I knew I could call Miss Thelma in the middle of the night if I needed her. I know I could call Angie in the middle of the night. I have people that I know that, because I don't have any family in Oklahoma City, but I do have family in Oklahoma City, you know,
Yeah.
and it's important to have a connection and have people that would be there for you day or night to help you. And because you can't make it through by yourself, just like, like you guys have been going through every week on divorce, and everybody has said the same thing. You can't do it in isolation, and you can't do it by yourself. Because, I mean, depression will kick your butt.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
suffered in depression, but I mean, me and my ex separated, I moved in with one of my best friends, Crystal, and her husband was the one who said, God was telling him for me to move into their house. And I was like, are you sure? And at that time, I had no clue where I was going and why. But when I moved in with them, I stayed with them for a year, and it was God designed that I was supposed to stay with them because I was so depressed. Alicia, it wasn't even funny. I mean, I was in their house trying to sit in the dark room, and you know Crystal, how loud she is.
Yeah.
She
Right.
come knocking on the door, turning on the light, breathe,
Right.
breathe.
Hey. Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you in here with the light on? And I'm trying to
Right.
cry, you know? Yeah, so, and it was, I mean,
Right.
just the things that she would pull me out of. Sometimes I'd be in there in the middle of the night crying my eyes out, and she'd be walking at 3 o'clock in the morning, knocking on the door, breathe. And, you know, and I know that was God, because she'd be like, you okay? And I'm like, why are you walking? You know, but I mean, that's just how much God loves us. And he won't, you know, he doesn't want us to be depressed and isolated and by ourselves. And, you know, and even when I heard about my hubby, when he was telling me about when he was going through his divorce and how depressed he was, I mean, divorce ain't no joke. It is rough. I don't care what anybody says, it is rough. You know, it's worse than a death. You know, death is easier because it's a ripping away, it's a tearing away. It's no joke. So it's important to have people around you and that can help you through it, that can pray you through it. So that's the first thing I would tell people.
I also would tell people, you know, if you are going to divorce, think about it, talk about it. Don't just go with your first instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make a temporary decision on a long term life.
Mm-hmm.
So don't just what you thinking about. Yeah, just quick to do it just because that's the easy way out. First of all, you can't turn yourself. I mean, you can't turn yourself to your spouse. You always have to listen what God's telling you first. And if you're not a praying person, get with somebody that at least can pray for you,
Mm-hmm.
or get
Right.
somebody with some good understanding, so you can understand what they're talking about, and have a second thought on getting divorced, because divorce wasn't in my it wasn't under my vocabulary. I just didn't. No, when I got married, I wouldn't get no divorce. I didn't get married to get divorced. But
Right.
when I got divorced, I had to accept it because that's what the other person wanted to do. So if a person, the Bible says, if an unbeliever wants to, leave, let them leave. Not saying that that was a choice, but I didn't want that. I want to try to work it out and try the best that I can to make, things work. But if that's your choice, make sure that's your choice that you're gonna have to live with,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a tough decision when you
Yeah.
leave somebody and then you thinking everything is going to be good after you get divorced. Sometimes it gets even rough.
Yeah.
You start looking at things like, man, why did I get divorced? And start looking at other things and saying, man, I shouldn't. Your life start getting rough. Your things, everything start getting a little hard. Bills start coming in heavier. It's just like I said, divorce is not divorce is not good. It's not
Shouldn't be
good
the
for it. It
first
shouldn't be the
choice.
first. Yeah, it shouldn't be the first choice you make when things go wrong. That shouldn't be the first choice you think about,
Mm-hmm.
divorce. Because if that's the case, we don't get mad at a job when a job make us mad. We don't just
Right.
quit our job and run to another job.
But some of us
We
don't.
we keep we keep fighting and we keep pushing and coming in there mad and stomping our feet and sitting around folding our arms like, man, I don't care about this job, but you still gonna
Tough
stay
it
there.
out. Yeah.
You're gonna tough it
Right.
out and you're gonna stay there. So
Mm-hmm.
if the job and you feel like you're not getting any benefits with your spouse, you got another thing coming, because your spouse is more benefit than your job.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Your spouse is way more benefit than your job, because your
Mm-hmm.
spouse is going to be there for you. Your job don't give two nickels about you.
Right.
So
This is so
That's good.
good.
Yeah.
Man, this is great. I love the conversation. Do we have any questions in the comment section while we um, are talking about this. They are just being super transparent. I love the story. I know that there's healing from your journey, from your story, and people need to hear this. They need to hear that there's hope.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Any questions? This is so good. Our timeline is kind of lagged, so I think people need to hear this story. I think that it's healthy. I think that it kind of brings people hope and lets them see, okay, we can get back into the dating world. We can date again.
Yeah.
We can give this another try. And I think this is so good. Question. Greg said, how did you know she was the one, T? How did you know?
Look at me.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
She
what.
the queen. That's
Yeah,
how.
That's the first thing. Look at her. Look at her. But to tell you the truth, when I met her when we was at that party, and I had said a little comment to her, and just to see how she was going to respond to it, because sometimes you say something to somebody and they'll take it so seriously and turn their nose up, and I was like, okay, it was just a joke. I was just asking you a question just to get a little laugh out of it. It wasn't that serious. So when I said that, she responded like, I know you didn't. You don't even know me like that. So it was like a joke, and we kept on. So I was like, okay, she got a sense of humor, and that's what I liked about it. She got a sense of humor, and that's what I was like, okay, we can see, we can talk, because I'm a joke.
You always got
I
something
know
smart
I'm
to
a
say.
smart. I say so much crazy stuff out the blue, and I'm a jokester. I like to joke around, but when I get serious, I get serious. But I like to joke because it says we laugh. That's what I like to do. I like to make people laugh because laughing is just a part of what I do. It just helps me out. But like I said, once I asked her that question and she came back with that comment, I knew that she was the one, because and another thing, on the serious side, when my uncle died, and my mom was sitting up there, and the burial site was with my dad, and they was buried beside each other, and my mom broke down, and when my mom broke down, Sabrina went over there and got her. That's how I knew that she was the one for me. Because if anybody cared for my mom more than she cared for me,
Yeah.
she's the one. And I'm sorry for crying.
No, this is
No,
good.
you good.
This is good. This is so rich. I mean, man, this information is just super rich. This is good. We had so Tia said, "What was the comment, T?" She trying to know the comment. I can't do it.
I asked her,
Because I had a drink.
she had a drink, and I said, how many drinks you gonna go get? That's a third drink. You like an alcoholic now. You're an alcoholic now. So she said, you don't even
Now
know
turn
me like
down,
that.
Sabrina.
Yeah.
And that was not no third drink.
So yeah, I made a comment with saying that, dang, how many drinks you gonna get? That's your third drink. So
Look,
she didn't
she
get.
was going through some stuff, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't get mad, turn her nose up. Yeah, she went along with it, and we don't laugh. Yeah. So that was a question I asked her.
Okay. When you met at the party, or maybe even before, how did you know you were ready to move forward with more than a hello and hanging out?
But well, I can answer for just me for a short thing, because my heart was already right. I had my heart already right. I didn't have any more bitterness. I asked God for forgiveness. So if I didn't have my heart right, and I would still have that animosity toward women and stuff like that, I wouldn't even try to talk to her, because I'd have treated her just like any other woman. I'd have been hard on her and wouldn't have gave her a chance. So my heart was right when I started talking to her.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
Preparation.
This is so good. How did you know, Bree? What was
I
the thing
can't say I
connection
was.
for you?
I wasn't fully. I really didn't know at that time if I was ready because I was still a little hesitant.
Because he was light skinned, huh?
Yeah.
Hey,
When I walked in, he was like in that white
that
prom suit. I was like, yes.
Dex, light skin is coming back. Don't light skin people coming back. 2021, we coming back.
I was like, yes. I asked him, can I have your number?
Yeah.
No, he was respectful even when we were just talking, but we sat down and we started having a conversation, and I mean we talked and talked even sitting there,
Mhm.
and then he didn't hang out that long. I think he left before midnight, and then he asked me for my number, and I was like, oh, okay. And then the next day, New Year's Day, he called me
Mhm.
and asked to take me to the movies. So we met at the movies, and it was real chill. We just talked, and he walked me to my car, and I was like, okay, he's nice. And I think he was working nights at the time.
Mhm. I was
You
working
were driving for
graveyard shift,
Highland
yeah.
Dairy, and he called me that night, and we talked, and he was just so easy to talk to. We started seeing that we had so much in common, and I was like, I really like talking to him. He's just so down to earth, and and I saw that he had just his upbringing and the things that he believed in, and I was just like, okay, this is too good to be true. We're gonna see where this is going. And I kept telling Angie was like, just stop, just chill out. And I was like, we're gonna see where this is going.
Yeah.
But his consistency and his honesty, and that won me over. I just started seeing, okay, this is a good guy. This is really a good guy. And I could tell that he's a good guy that just wanted to be loved. So
Right.
it was easy. It was easy to love him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Angie said her friends told her to relax and give him a chance. That's good. Mom said, divorce is a death. The oneness of God is breached, but the right thing to do is stay connected to Jesus. He makes our life to live. So yes,
Right.
that's,
Amen. Right.
Mhm.
having that connection is good.
Right.
This is so good. Consistency and honesty, Tia said. This is good. Man, this is so healthy. I love this conversation. You guys are amazing. Thank
Yep,
you
good
for
stuff.
sharing your story because we know it's not easy. I mean, that's the
Mhm.
reality of it. And you guys have been super transparent. And we think that, people need to hear your story.
We're glad
We're
we could
glad
be
we
here.
thank
Yeah.
you. Appreciate
This
you
is
having us on.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
thank you guys for joining. Thank everyone for tuning in live tonight. This video will be reposted. Please don't hesitate to reach out, ask questions. T and Bree will be tagged in this, so please feel free to reach out to them if you have questions about this journey. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help and talk to you guys. So thank you, everyone. Everyone said thank you to the Carltons. Thank you. Thank you. This was rich. Thank you. They loved it. They loved it.
Love you guys, Dexter.
Well, you
Yeah,
guys
we
have a
do.
beautiful week. Heather said this was amazing, guys. I enjoyed it. So thank you.
Awesome.
Shout out to
Well, you
Greg,
guys,
Angie.
huh?
I should give a
Yeah.
shout out to all my people.
Yeah. There you go.
Greg, Angie,
Yep.
Cheryl, Kim. I can go on and on.
Yeah. Yeah. This is good. Thank you
Yeah.
guys for joining. We hope you guys have a beautiful week, rest of the week.
All right, you too. Thank you.
All right.
Have
Y'all
a
have a
good
good one.
All right,
Too.
thank you.